I don't know exactly which line we got to, punkt. But the Hachodesh advarim is when you get to the stira, so to speak. The Amos state that Atzilus is Gilei Helim. The Amos says that Atzilus is Yesh Ma'ayin, Chacham Ayin Timotze. What are we dealing with? The Shaila is that's the Rapasha that Atzilus is not an Indian of a Nivra, Kipshuti, that it's the Hemshech created something outside of Elikus. Atzilus says that the Inyanim of Elikus, the Spheris, the Eibish's Keches Kaviyocha were Nizgal and Elam Atzilus. We say in Paschalio, Antu that Pikas Shartikunin, that Elam Atzilus is the Elam where there's Nizgal, the Eibish's Keches, the Eibish's the Esser Spheris. The Shaila is, the Indian of Esser Spheris, is it Indian of Ein Arech? The Eibish, the Kusim said that's is Ein Sof, Lav Mikol Inim Yidisi Yuklal, the Eibish said that's is Ein Sof Tfisebe. When it comes to start the Kusim is Nizgal through the Indian of Esser Spheris, these through the which are all in Yanim Neflaim, but they're all in Yanim of Tzir, Yanim of Prat, in Yanim of Gvul, Chachma, Bina, Das are all things which have definitions, are all defined in Yanim. So the one on one hand we say that Atzilus is Yesh Ma'ayin. Yesh Ma'ayin means that it's Be'en Arech legabe the Eibish is Ein Sof. Atzilus doesn't express the bleak vol of Elokus. Atzilus expresses only that dargan Elokus, the way is mitzamtzim to be the way he can be expressed through Gvul, through certain titles, through certain titles, through certain milas. But these milas, these titles of Gdula and Gvura and Tiferes, they don't express the Svertness God. It's not a Hemshech to the fact that the Eibish is Ein Sof. So it's everything. You say the Eibish is so in addition to the fact that the Eibish is Ein Sof, it is not limited that he has to be dafkin, reveal himself in a way of bleak Gvul. He's able to be mailim on his Ein Sof. I've been his gal and Efen of Gvul. That's in of Spheres. So the Fiz said the Gvul is be'en arech to the bleak Gvul. So it's Yesh Ma'ayin that when he brings away the Chacham Ayin Timotze, is that Chacham legabe Ein Sof has no erech. It's not that there's not an Ein Sof, there's a certain erech, a certain the Gabe Ein Sof Chacham is Metzias. The Gabe Ein Sof Chacham is nothing. Chacham has no value klal klal. So it's not even it doesn't exist. All these ideas of Chacham and Bina and Das, and the fact that these ideas have a certain mile that was on this Hachodesh Yesh Ma'ayin. But Meshegim it's Ein Sof. So Chacham is nothing and Gvura is nothing. They're all the Inyanim which have no taich at all. That's the one hand. Yidach we say that Tzilus is Gilei Helim. Gilei Helim means that through Esser Spheres that Tzilus Vertien is Gale the Ein Sof. You say Atzilus is called Adam Le'elyin. Adam Le'elyin, the way the Shalos bring that it's called Atzilus is called Adam. Hashem Adam Le'elyin to bring out that Atzilus is Megale, the Helim, the Pchin of Elokus, the way he saw some Helim, the Eibish is Ein Sof. That's the Chodesh. So first he brought that the Chilik is the Gabi. Shalos what Musig of Ein Sof are we dealing with? The Gabi Amitis Ein Sof, the true Musig of Ein Sof. So Atzilus, Chachma, and Bina and Das, they're all Hachodesh Yesh Ma'ayin Mamash. The Gabi Ein Sof itself, there's no, the whole mitzvah of Chachma was Hachodesh. Chachma has no value to the Gabi Ein Sof himself. That's the first thing he says. I am Rezakta. So Adam Le'elyin, so that's when the Gabi B'chinas Ak, like a B'chinas Adam Kadmin. So that's not the mitzvah in Ein Sof. That's L'chatchila in Ein Sof, which has to do with Elamis. That's Ein Sof Bash Olam. I mean, it's not really Ein Sof. It's the highest darga of Makar of the Elokus is naif of being a Makar Elamis, but not the Elokus is Mufshit from Elamis. That's what we read about before. But here in the beginning of the Reish Tazvav, Omni Mishlema, the Gam Legabe Akav Nishachon Ein Sof, which is the Mailim B'chinasak, it's the Gam Legabe B'chinazu Shayach Lemer Tatzos B'chinas Adam Le'elyin. That's where the Chachodesh. The Chachodesh over here is not I'm Zakta that Tatzos Adam Le'elyin Legabe Ak. Adam Kadmon is the B'chin of Adam. Adam is Tzir. The Sheresh Acher Rishon of Tzir is Adam Kadmon, who's the first B'chin of Adam. Where is this Chadosh, the Musig of Tzir, and the most highest Eif, and that's the B'chin of Adam Kadmon. But it's all the darga of Elokus, which the Chatchila has a shaykhis inyan of Adam, a shaykhis inyan of Tzir. Mashink, when you say that Atzilus Adam Le'elyin to B'chinas Kav is Kav is not a B'china which was this Havim inside that Tzimtzum. Kav is not a B'china of Makar La'elamis. Adam Kadmon is the initial Makar La'elamis, the highest darga which is a Makar La'elamis. And that's why it's Dafkal Acher Tzimtzum. It's Bria D'chlolos. Mashink, when you say that Atzilus Adam Le'elyin Legabi Kav, it's not just we're saying that Atzilus Adam Le'elyin till now we're speaking about Legabi Ak. And now we're saying that it says Adam Le'elyin even to a higher level. It's not just a shayla of a higher level. See, Ak and even not Darga before. When you say that Atzilus Adam Le'elyin to Kav, you're saying a whole different Indian. You're saying that Atzilus is Megale a pchin of Eir. And the ufta of Eir is that Eir is not the way the Eibish HaKav Yochaz mitzamtzim himself to be a makar la'elamis, which that's Nevea Al Mitzad Tzimtzum. Kav is, Indian of Eir is that it's Mein Amar. that it's a lakus the way it is. It's the etzem kameshu being nizgala. That's the nukud of it. So not the way the etzem is not mitzad the kava tzimtzum in a lakus, which becomes a makar leilamis. It's mitzad the kava gili vayspashas of a lakus, and it is amita saying sof. The etzem is leis machshav tfisibei. The amita saying sof, and it is the gili of this saying sof. So when you say that atzilus, which is l'chure al inyan of a lakus, milas of a lakus, which are nizgala through inyan of gvol, chachme, and gvura and das, and is l'chure all inyan of tzir v'agbala. Chachma, you could express, you could bring out, you could describe Kav Yochel Eibish's godless, the way it's Nizgal in Atzilus. To say that Atzilus is Gilei Helam Negabe Akav, that's a whole different meaning. You're saying that Atzilus doesn't only express the Madrege Valakush is a Makar from Mitzias, but Atzilus brings out, and through Atzilus Vert Nizgale, the Etzem, because Eir is Gilei Etzem. That's the Nukud of Eir. Eir is not the way the Etzem is Mitzamtzim himself, to suit himself to a keli. Then it's not er. Then you say the dugma that's shefa. That the Rav is not, when the Rav is being mashpia seichot Talmud, the Rav is not just generating. He's not just projecting who he is. The Rav is giving something like tchila, which is masan to the klei makab. He's lowering himself down. He's not being nizgal l'kameshu. Mashikin er is that the etzem kameshu who is made. So when you say that it says you're saying in other words that Atzilis expresses the etzem of Elikus. Er is gilei etzem. And this etzem is nizgale sof kol sof through Atzilis. Through the spheres that Atzilis, vert nizgale the pshitis of Elikus, the ein sof of Elikus. That's also when you say that Atzilis adam le'elden legabe er akav. That through the spheres that Atzilis, vert nizgale the er which is ein sof v'amitis, the mitis ein sof. And to explain that, he brings two efanim. Two efanim. First explains the first efan, and then later man Adam Kiyakiv starts explaining that Atzilis adam le'elden legabe akav. In the second eifin. The first eifin is basically there's two shittas that got Erakav. Here we went through this last time, the Bifin Klal. There's two shittas that got Erakav, which are connected to the two shittas that got Eres, the Spheres Bechlal. You have Machlek Sam Kobalim, Meret that got Spheres that Tzilis. So according to some shittas, so the Spheres that Tzilis, the Eres of the Spheres, the Eres am Eslapshin by Kelim are Pshutim Betachlis, the Eres Pshutim. And the whole musik of Gvul and Tzir and Agbal is all Neveim at the Keli. It's not Neveim at the saying just in the mashal, you see the mashal of nefesh adam. It's not an accurate mashal. Just to bring out this point, you see that there's the eye, the kayach hariyah of the nefesh. Kayach hariyah of the nefesh mitzadatzma is mufshet legamri from seeing a davar gashmi, from being a physical kayach. The nefesh is kulei ruch, is a mahus ruchnis, and the kayach hariyah of the nefesh is the kayach ruchni. So the fact that the kayach hariyah has this ability to see something physical, the fact that it was enslavaged and it's transformed now to be a kayach, a physical koyach, let's say, of koyach to see a physical chefza, that's not mitzad the koyach of the nefesh itself. That's mitzad the slapshus in the ayin. The ayin is the davar gashmi. So through the slapshus, the koyach and the ayin, so now the koyach was mekabel in himself, and he acquired certain features of gashmi, and therefore he's able to see gashmi things. But these features the koyach is able to see the davar gashmi, the stamtish in the nefesh doesn't stamp from the koyach itself. That comes mitzad the slapshus in the koyach in the aver. And the Aver is never Gashmi. So the Koyach is Nizgala through the Meach Gashmi. So it has certain Tchunas that are Neveim. It's the Aver Gashmi. There's the Seichel, Koyach HaSeichel, and the Meach Adam. The Seichel, the Koyach HaSeichel, the Nevesh Mitzad Atzma is Mufshit from the Tzir of Gashmi, the Geseichel, the way we're Teifis. Since the Koyach HaSeichel is Mislabish in the Meach, so therefore we're able to read it's Nizgala in a way that has some ingredients of it, that has some features Mitzad the Meach, inside the Gashmi Sameach. And that's why we're able to understand the Seichel in our, in Unzer Gdarim. So there said this we're speaking about the Koyach is davar prati, it's a davar mugdar. The fact that the Koyach is misyachas the geshem, we can see that that's neveim. It's at the slapshus in the Ever Gashmi. In Atzilus, according to one shitta, the whole musik of gvul and tzir, the whole tzir of chesed, the fact that the lukus is nizgal and the tzir of chesed, the Eibishter teva Hashem lakel. So lukus is nizgal and the eifin of there is mischased in kolabrius. The tzir, the eir mitzad atzim is pasha betachlis. The etzim is pasha betachlis. The gili etzim is pasha betachlis. The reason for the tzir is neveim. It's at the slapshus sa'er ba'keli. So the whole tzir, the whole ches chachma v'chesed is on neveim. It's at the keli, but the eir mitzad atzmi is pashut. But do as like we're saying, like the gashmi is the kech. That's one shit. And the zweite shit is that the eir mitzad atzmi is mitzir. The eir mitzad atzmi, there's eir chachma v'eir chesed. The tzir is not neveim. It's at the keli. The keli only gets to aksham in the eir. These type of prat. But the dugmas you can say when you get to the nefesh that the keachari is a keachari pratis. The fact that it's a keach prati and it's not pshitis, that's not a vim. It's the keli. The keach itself is a keach prati. Al there's the gabi the nefesh, the gabi in lamaila. According to this shitta, the eir is gufar mitziyar. That means that the inyan atzir begins with that gili. Lechatchile, that's it. He connects it here with Alter Rebbe, brings the same thing. Two shittas the gabi the amshach of erakav. What's the difference between Eir Kav and Eir? There's La'achirat Tzimtzum, there's two Pchinas of Eir, which are Nimshach La'achirat Tzimtzum. There is Eir HaSeviv Kolam, which is Meir Pchinas Makif, and then there's Eir HaKav, which is Mislavish Pnimius Neilamis. So there's two shittas when you get to Eir HaKav. The Pchin of Seviv Kolam and the Eir of Ein Sof, so that's versteht man Kaviyachol. That's the Eibishim Mitzvah is Ein Sof. B'shas it's Meir the Ein Sof Kamei Shehu, so Gvul is in his battle. So first of all, Gvul Tzir is not a keli to be mekabel himself the previous Ein Sof. Say Seichel, for example. Seichel is only able to be a keli to be teifis a inyan sichli, but even which is Ein Sof, which is not Seichel, which is the Gamri Adavar, which has no shaychus klal to Seichel. That's in Velikus. It's not shaychus for Seichel to be teifis something which is not an idea. It's not a concept. It's kind of shmeir zan a Seichel. And al there's a b'shas is meir the Ein Sof of Velikus kamei. So Gvul is kolach shiv legabe such. So Gvul is in his battle. So that's the Pchin of Seviv. Seviv Kalam, that's its Meir. Seviv is the Eir Leki, which is Meir, the way it is inside the Etzem. The Kfeif in the Etzem. So same way the Etzem is Ein Sof and Pasha B'tachas Abshittis, and Be'ein Arech Lecha, there is no Erech within any Metzias outside of him, the Gabi himself. So B'shas, the Lukus is Meir Kamei. So there's Bitla Metzias, so and that's higher than Kelim, higher than Asav. So Smeir Takim B'chinas Makif. Sev Sof Kol Sof is that it's Meir, that it's not Shaykh for a Metzias of a Nivra, for a Dover Mugbal, to be Mekabel B'primius Teir HaSeviv. So Smeir B'chinas Makif, that's Seviv Kolam. Kav is the Eir which is not Meir in a way that it's Shelo the Gvul. That it's B'shas, it's Meir, the Gvul is Mizbatel, like the B'chin of Seviv Kolam. The Eir HaKav is Meir in a way that the Nivra is Mekabel, this Eir B'primius. But the Shaila is, the Alter means two shittas. One shitta is that Eir HaKav is the same Muhus, so to speak, as the Eir HaBlikvul. There's one B'chin of Eir. The Eibush is, there's B'chin of Eir, the Etzem is Ein Sof. Eir is that this Ein Sof is Meir Kamei Shu. The fact that Kav is Mislabish Beifin Mugbal and Kalim, and it's not Shelo the Mitzvah Kalim, it's Mislabish Beifin Pnimi Elam, is that's Nevei Mitzvah the Tzimtzum. The Tzimtzum is poil that the Kav shouldn't be Mevatel the Mitzvah Elam, it should be Meir B'Pnimis. It's not Nevei Mitzvah Eir HaKav. Eir HaKav Mitzvah the Etzem Hosi of Eir HaKav, not Mitzvah the fact that the Tzimtzum is poil on the Kav. Mitzvah Eir HaKav Gufa is the same Mahus as the Eir HaBlikvul, as the Eir HaSeiv Kalam. But mitzad the fact that the Tzimtzum has an effect on him, so to speak, so the Eir HaKav is slavish and is nimshach in Pnimi Eilus. That's the one shitta, which has behesing to the shitta Eiris Apshutim. Nish v'gen dem reted that's he speaks about later. Adam Kiakrev. Here we're speaking about behesing to the other shitta. The other shitta is al chatchila mitzad the Eir HaKav mitzad Sharshei is a different amshachat than the Eir HaBlikvul. The fact that Eir HaKav is not shelo the Metzias of Eilumis, but he's nimshach and Eilumis b'efim Pnimi. And he's not, and he's Messiah and Elzef and Pnimi. That's Neveh, not mitzad that Tzimtzum, because the Chatchila Eir HaKav is a Zam Esert Eir, which is Eir, it's the Gile of Ein Sof, but it's the Chatchila, the Gile of Ein Sof, B'Pchinas Gvul. That's the Lashon we says in the Maimer. That's the Hesem to the Shitta, that the Eir is the Chatchila Eir is in Tziyar. That in Pchinas Eir, mitzad the Eir Gufa, mitzad the Eir, there's an Eir which comes in the Tziyar of Chesed. The Tziyar is not Neveh mitzad the Keli, mitzad the Eir, the Chatchila, the Eifin, the way the Kus is Nizgala is an Eifin, that is Nizgala through the Tziyar of Chachma, through the Tziyar of Chesed. That's the Shadish is in Eir HaKav, which Chatchila is a Zam Esert Eir, the Etzem is Takei Ein Sof. But from this Etzem which is Ein Sof, there's two Eifanim of how the Ein Sof is Nimshach. One Eifin is Nimshach in a way of Blikvul, that it's mere the Ein Sof Kamei Shu, which that's Mevatel the Metzias of Gvul, which has a mere Blikvul, so the Gvul is Kolach Shiv, Legabe Ein Sof, Vertnes Vatel the Gvul. Le'idat, there's another Eifin of the Ein Sof is Nimshach, not in a way of that is niggers, the reim is visnasus, and the gvul is misbatel, but in a eifin that is nimshach in pchinas bulumid. Verstehen wir but that's the code that he says. And from this is neveh that the eiris are the Inin Atzir is faran and the Eir Gufa. Lechatchila the Eir is Eir Mitzir. The Inin of Chacham is neveh mitzad the Eir. That's the Sherish and Eir Akav. Lechatchila sa'azam esert Eir, which is not Shelo Gvul. His mechuven is that he should be mayor in Gvulumida. On one hand, his Indian is not this is a thing. Last thing you get to remember when you speak about that Kalim are Gvul, and you say that Eir is Gvul is two separate musagim. You say Kalim is Gvul. Kalim and Yanam is Gvul. Chachma v'Chesed is all that. In addition to the fact that the Eibishter is Ein Sof, the Eibishter is also Keach Gvul. He has a Keach. There's the Indian of Gvul in Holocaust. That's not the idea of Kalim. Is not that the Ein Sof should be expressed through Gvul. It's a different idea. The Eibishter has the Maila of Gvul. But Neisef to the Kaviyachal, the Maila of Gilui, of Bli Gvul, the Eibishter has another Maila. There's the Maila of Gvul, of Helim, of Gvul, to be an Eifed of Mitzias. You see when you get to the Nefesh. There's Seichel, there's the Nefesh's Keiches, and then the Nefesh also has Asius. Asius in Adam is not the Gilui Nefesh. Besides for the fact that the Nefesh has the ability to express itself through Seichel Umidis, the Nefesh has Asius. What's the Mechuvan? Another Mechuvan. Not that the Nefesh should be expressed through the Asius. The mechuven is to be mailim on himself. Another mechuven. That's the saying musik of kalim, the musik of gvul mitzat kalim. That in the lukus you also have the Indian of a makar legvul, a makar for mitzias, a makar for tzir. When you speak about the Eiris in Yanim is the gili of the etzem. That's the code of Eiris gili etzem. The chiddush of here is that in the Chori you would say the mitzad the Indian of gili etzem. So there's no the etzem is ein sof. So mitzad gili etzem there's no nisin smagam for gvul. Avdem zakmen that even the Indian of gili etzem can be nezgala through the Indian of chachma v'chesed. In chachma and in chesed is faran the eibishter is pashtus. The etzem is pashtus. The etzem is gili. So the code of Eir is that the etzem is mispashtus. The etzem should be meir. So in that guf of the etzem is the spashtus etzem, the gilei etzem you have to yifan. The gilei etzem in a way that's shelul gvul, that b'shas seherzach the gilei etzem which is ein sof vert nisbatel the chshivas of the mitzias gvul. That's in kod of nes shida that nisbatel the mitzias gvul. Another eifin that the etzem is nisgale not in a way of being shelul gvul, but is nisgale in the pchin of midah gvul. That in gvul through chachma through chesed can zecheren the etzem from alakus, can nisgale veren the ein sof from alakus. So we're not saying that the Indian of Eir is Chachma v'Chesed. The Indian of Eir is the Gili of the Pshittis of it, the Gili Etzem. So Zacher in Elukus. But the Uftu is that in Elukus can Zacher and also through the Indian of Chachma v'Chesed Gufa, not by being Sheilul. It's the Eir Chachma v'Eir Chesed. And that's what we're saying, that Atzil is Adam Elel Negabe Ekav. So I don't know, where exactly did we, I don't know exactly what we learned inside.
So on Pishash this time,
That's rolling. Huh?
Maybe a little bit before.
Okay, we'll start from Bereshis Gidei Kav. Okay. Bereshis Gidei Kav hu b'chachma. So back just to see the lashon that the reason we get it. V'amshach habeis. Just look at the lashon just in the Reish as well. V'amshach habeis shevchinas bulamida. Means the v'amshach habeis of Erin Sof is in the pchin of bulamida. Right. It says v'hainu. Pchinas hakav v'chot nimshach from Erin Sof. So it's nimshach from Erin Sof. Shu amshach shevchinas bulamida, which that's amshach not amshach of bligvul, but amshach of Ein Sof in the pchin of bulamida. It's the amshach of Ein Sof in the pchin of bulamida. And what's the mechuvan of the hamshach of Erekav? It's not hamshach of gvul like gvul. It's hamshach of Ein Sof in the pchin of gvul. It's not gvul. It's the way Ein Sof is nizgala through gvul. Or Ein Sof is nimshach in gvul, but it's a different. And what's the mechuvan of the hamshach of Erekav? This pchin is pnimi ve'elamis. That the Gilei Velukus should be married from Pnimi Neilamis. She Yashiv Chinas Pnimis began this as Firis. She after she Kabbalah Yashiv Chinas Ein Sof. The way it is Neifin of Ein Sof that's Ken Zilish Kabbalah. Ki Im Kasher Bav Chinas Midogvo. Shezo Chinas Akav. Yeah. Bereshis Gidei Akav, that was the Agav. Bereshis Gidei Akav u b'chachma. Maybe it's just tight to mention this, even though it's not. Maybe it's tight to mention it. The Rebbe brings it in a couple of places. This word, many times, this type of word that says that the sheresh, according to this shita specifically, that the sheresh hakav is in teferes anela. Says that the era bligvol, what the Rebbe is the hamshach rishein, which is hamshach shebchinas ein sof. That's the pchin of chesed shelifnei tzimtzum. Chesed anela. Tzimtzum kelim and tzimtzum. That's the pchinas gvura anela. And the sheresh hakav is from teferes anela. So what's the difference in the nefesh in the tunu of chacham of chesed, gvura, and teferes? Chesed is that the fact that the person that the person gives because his interest is to give. He's a Heraklib Geben. That's the pchin of chesed. He's not giving mitzad because the mekabel deserves it necessarily, because the mekabel earns it. He's giving because his cheshik is lashpia. His ratzim cheshik is lashpia. So here the adgasha is the spashas of the alien. The sibas hanesin is not mitzad because the tachten that is eisgefader, the tachten deserves it, or the tachten is earned it, because the alien he has his ratzim cheshik is lashpia. So that's an asin which is neveh mitzad the spashas of the alien. And in gvura is that the alien has no interest to give kaviyachol. He's not about chesed, but the tachten, if someone's worthy, if someone worked and he earned to get a certain result, so you give mitzad the tachten's worthy of it. So gvura is that the alien is behelim and is nesmakim to hergesh amitzias, to hergesh abazulas. Teferes is the chibur of chesed and gvura. Teferes is, you say, the Teferes in the mashal is rachman. Nakud of Rachamim is that on one hand, you feel Rachmanis in another person. That's al derech chesed that you're giving because you're margish. Instead of your chesed, you're margish the Rachmanis in another person. The idach Rachmanis is the music of Rachmanis is that you're margish the other person's tzar. You're margish the other person's matzah. Chesed you're not giving because you're margish that he needs something. You're margish his tzar. Chesed you're giving because du v'sazam esert mensch v'sat lib geben. That's the spashas hanefesh. There's no chibur now of the adam utazulas. In Teferes is a chibur between the two tnuos of chesed and gvura. Mitzad echad rachamim is that he's giving mitzad the fact that he feels rachman as another person. So there's the regesh of that his nefesh is feels bad for the other person. The idach, his nefesh feels bad. What bothers him? What bothers me? What was Meir my Rachmanis? The other person's matzah was Meir my Rachmanis. So there's the spashas hanefesh together with the zulas. You have to understand it in the mashal. When you're saying in the nimshal, you have one tnu is that the alien is mispashit kameshu. That's the Hemshech v'chinas ein sof. That the alien is made mispashit the way the etzem is. No, mufshit too many shaykhs to the zulas. That's the and there's the etzem is that is bligvol. B'shas the etzem is meir kameshu. So there's it's nirgash that amitis ein sof. And the guy with that gvol has no metzias and inarich lecha and everything's his battle. The guy with the bligvol. Then there's the kavat tzimtzum that is kavayochel a helem. The keich hagvul to be mailam on the etzem which is ein sof, and then there's in a smaga from mitzias. Then there is the chibur of both of these nyanim. That in mitzias, in zulas, he's mispashit. Dugmas like I say when you get to the feres that yenem's matziv it touches the person that he feels rachmanis to other person's matziv. It's not in a sin asmagam to zulas. It's the way even that the matziv azulas reared on the person touches me. Or I'm sensitive to what he's going through. So when you say that I am sensitive to him, there's a chibur between the Elgin and Mashpia and the Makab. So there's a saying in the Nimshal, there's the Nukud of Erakav is Misat Teferes and Elam. So the Ebish's Pshitis Kaviyocha, that is not Mugder, that his Spashtis is Dafka in a way that's not Nesin Makam to Azulas. Even in the Metzias of Azulas, can Zain Spashtis. That's the Nukud, that's the Shadish of Erakav. Yeah, it speaks about it in different places. That's not, That's not, doesn't mention that at all. But
it's not according to this shit though.
Huh?
Not according to this shit though. So the two shit is in common.
The ikr, I think in this I think the marker of this word is Naim Beis that the kav is the feres and elam that's in kodah pshitas. He says that the Eirish of ein sof that's not bringing out the nukodah that Eirish is not mugder. That's the kamuchuvan of that area is to express the Eirish is bligvol ein sof. Ein sof, the tachlis ein sof is that gvul in his battle. The nukud of kav is not stamazet to bring out the fact that Eibush is bligvul. That even in zulas there could be his hispashtas. The hispashtas ein sof is not shayla, is not mugder that it has to be in a way that the zulas is in his battle. There could be his hispashtas in mitzias azulas. So he says that's kav, that's feres and elam. So this word, and Ibis brings up Hemshech to this shit of Eretz Mitzvah. That's the marker of the word first. Okay, but that's just saying the gufin, the sheirashin. Okay, but let me say much what I'm saying is that it's not when you say that kav is amshach is gvul midah, it's not that it's blig vol mahak the surrounding vol. Lechatchila the air kav is an air which in yani is lahar shevchin is gvul midah. Lechatchila the amshach is an eifet that in yani is lahar shevchin is gvul midah. That's where they bring the dugmas al derech teferes. Teferes' Indian is not this the regesh hanefesh the way he's mufshit from azulas. And it's not the nekuda vis almos hanefesh, and it's in asmakam the zulas. It's the chibur of the spashas hanefesh with the zulas. So the chatchila, it's not zulas there. In Teferes, the mechuven is to bring out this pshitas of the nefesh that is not mugder to be mispashit dafka in a way that's shayla zulas. Someone else's matzav could also touch him. Could also be me'er his nefesh, or his rachmim could be in his bata also in being in caring about someone else. Not his gilei nefesh is not mugder in the fact that this spashas nefesh is in a way that's shayla the matzav of someone else. I say that's the nekuda pshitas. Lechatchila erakav is a zamesert er, which in yani is the hard b'chnas bulamida. So one it's a spashas ein sof. Leidach is a spashas ein sof. It's not two separate things. The ein sof and the gvul. Lechatchila is a zamesert spashas, a zamesert gilei ein sof, which is b'chnas bulamida. It's not two separate things. As first is meir b'chnas bli gvul, and then mahak the sarayin gvul er gitzvul. Lechatchila is a zamesert er, which in yani is that the er should be meir na if no bulamida. That's what I'm saying. The word of the Teferes.
when it wants to
No, it's Nagia to say here to them Shechina. The Rebbe Hashem wants to bring out that he says before that the Hachodesh that there's he says in the Gile of the Aints of the Eibishter and Welt in Bria we have two Efanim. One in Trunes, which is Mevatel the Gidra Teva, and another Efan of Gile Ein Sof is in the Tmidish Shvanagas Teva. So Tmidish Shvanagas Teva, it's not that the bleak vol is in a way that's Mevatel Welt. But Etzem Ein Sof, the Niver is Mugbal. A Dover Mugbal is not a Keli to bleak vol. So that's why B'shas Meir bleak vol, but this battle velt, B'shas Herzach HaNes, and the Nes is with the Eibishter is not Mugbal in Gdarim. So B'shas it's Meir, the Eibishter is not Mugbal in Gdarim, so the Gvul vert this battle. And Kore Yom Liabasha, the Metzias HaTeva vert this battle. Here you have, there's a velt, there's a Shemesh V'yarech, and there's a tchuna of bleak vol in them. The fact that Chazakim came Ibaram, or the fact that the Tzva, the Mina Adam, is Kayam and Be'ish, there's a tchuna of bleak vol in the person. The fact that there's no Akbala to Kayam B'min, I'm sorry. That Mina Adam is Kayam B'min. Everything in Kol Tzva, it's Kayam B'min. So there's the tchuna of bleak vol. The Gvul is a Chnishkin Keli to bleak vol. Gvul is Mugbal. His Mugbal is Mugbal in every single aspect he's Mugbal. There's no Gvul is not a Keli to bleak vol. So if you can say there's a tchuna of bleak vol in the Gvul. So but here in was besteht the bleak vol. It's not that there's a dokuda of bleak vol that's meir the way it is mufshit from gvul. Lechatchila was besteht the bleak vol that the gvul has a kiyum nitzchi. That's what I'm saying. Lechatchila it's not stam. It's the same bleak vol as nes. The pel over here is that it's in teva and there it's shelo. Lechatchila was besteht the bleak vol of atmidish magas teva. It's a bleak vol that lechatchila is connected to the gvul. That the gvul has atmidius. That the hanagas teva has atmidius. It's not a bleak vol that's nimsh. It's not a bleak vol which is as a separate nukuda as a bleak vol. That guf is a peletake. The fact you have azam a certain bleak vol which is lechatchila biyachad with gvul, that's a peletake. And that's lechatchila. It's not any of ein sof and the nach hak with the sarai in gvul. Lechatchila says azam a certain ein sof, but shinyani is a bleak vol the way it's misgal in gvul. Lechatchila says as a certain bleak vol. Lechatchila says azam a certain ein sof visvet misgal in the pchin of gvul midah. If the bleak vol of kav would have been the same bleak vol as the air, that means it's a pchin of Ein Sof, the way it's mufshit from Gvul, but the second she can't discover her in Gvul. Ein Sof, Legabi Gvul, Legabi Bli Gvul, Ein Sof Gvul is in his battle. So and that's a mitzad nes, Gvul vert his battle. So the pearl we said there is a tchuna of Bli Gvul in Velt of Tmidius and a stam of Vatal Velt. Lechatchila that Bli Gvul is a Bli Gvul shein yoni to be nimshach in the Gvul b'mtziyuse. It's a different type of Bli Gvul than the Bli Gvul of the Ein Sof. I'm just saying the Guf Inyan. So I'm saying there, the Chassidus, I'm saying the Rebbe brings this Kav upon him. The Sheirish Inyan is that Kav is nimshach from Tiferes Anela. That's the pchin of the Pshitus of Elokus. Which the Pshitus is that he's not mugder in one Kav, but there could be a Chibur of both Kav. So the Chatchil is the Blik Vol the way it's Mechuber with Gvul. It's not Blik Vol the way it's Mufshit. In the other Inyan. Yeah, as I state that. The Mitzadech, there's a certain mile in Erekav which the Ein Sof doesn't have. The mile of Chibur of Chibur. Yeah. Barich is this prat is in Kimitzeis Chatav Shniyud Beis. The Rebbe goes through the mile in each Nekuda. What I'm trying to bring out is it's not the pshat that it's the same Blik Vol, and the uftu of Erekav is that the Blik Vol of Shelos, and here Simshach Ingvol. Lechatchila it's a different Inyan. It's Blik Vol the way it's Lechatchila connected to Gvol. But do like I see when I get to versteht es nicht, but I'm just saying what we see. The Tmidius Shvanagas Teva, the Nitzchius, avad it's in of Blik Vol. And the kasha would be, if it's Blik Vol, how is the Gvul a keli for it? We have a kasha tag. I'm not saying we have no kasha. But what is the mechuvan of this Blik Vol? Is it to bring out that the Eibusher is mufshit from Gvul? Or it's a giving a take from Gvul? Lechatchila it's a Blik Vol to be a prat in Gvul. Because the Eibusher is poshut, so it's can't the chibur from these three zaken. But I'm saying is lechatchila what's in yoni of this Blik Vol? To be a prat in Gvul. Not nicht is also cher in of Ein Sof the way it is mufshit from Gvul. That's what I'm saying. That's no. Okay, well, this is
how does it show? How does it battle that it's big vol once it comes into the vol?
I'm saying lepoil. We'll see. It says legabi the kalim, but I'm saying what we see legabi the tmidish v'anagas hateva. Lepoil is the nekuda of blig vol in anagas hateva. The fact that tzvar is kayam b'min, there's a tchon of Ein Sof in the Nevraim, and a nivra is mugbal. We can say that Ishav nekuda himself was vert came on the shvacher. There's a nekuda the keich al there's the same take of the way it was by other marishin. How could that be? A good mugbal, well, it has to be mugbal in all aspects. How could it be a tchina which is not mugbal in any agbalas? It's not mugbal in zman. It's a davar nitzchi. So l'chor is davar piloi. Davar mugbal is l'chor not a keli to davar bilti mugbal. Yeah, this always brings. You say if you have a cup of water, so a cup of water can handle more water than the cup is able to handle. Alas, kam a davar mugbal. How could it handle blikvo? So that's a shayla. But I'm saying, but what's the blikvo in this case? But l'chatchila, what's for a blikvo? It's not blikvo, which in Yani is hedrag haklalim hedragvo. In Yani is that there should be a prat in a davar mugbal. I'm just saying b'chitzeni yisini. It's not. It's in was bashtet the blikvo that an hagas a teves tmidius. We're not l'chatchila not being shel, and in gvul there's blikvo. So there's the erakav. The nekuda is not. It's the same ein sof as seviv elamai. It's nimshach in po. L'chatchila the whole nekuda of erakav is that in mitzias there should be the spashas of ein sof. L'chatchila that blikvo. There's a nekuda of ein sof and chacham v'chesed that we're gonna have to see. But I'm saying you see even in the Indian the way it's mizbate in Evraim, the teva and the mitzias of the Nevraim are neveah mitzad the tzir of the air. The fact that Mayim has a certain hagbolus of Mayim, that's neveah mitzad eira chesed. And since eira chesed is ein sof in gvul, so there's a Mayim is ein sof in teva. It's not the tmid. This Rabbi Shav says it. Tmid Shemar Teva is neveah mitzad eira kav. So I'm saying if it's mizbate in Evraim avade in Atzilis, there's a nekuda of blikvul and gvul, not stam meaning of it's not mugbal from other Zeitentag. It's the spashas that ain't sof in gvul. But this you have to remember is it's a spashas that ain't sof, but not a spashas that ain't sof, and the mechuven is as a cheren that ain't sof. Kameshuhu la'atzmei. It's that the ain't sof should be in gvul. The chatchila azam insert in this. It's not stam ain't sof. That it's the gili of the fact that the ain't sof can stay in gvul. That's the nekuda of erakav. It's a chibur of two inyan of erakav. It's not one inyan. It's chatchila chibur of two inyan. You say Rachman is a different inyan than Chesed. Chesed is I want to give it, nothing to do with him. Rachmim is that I'm margish his matziv, so it's mitzadecha, it's pashas hanefesh. Leidach is pashas hanefesh the way it's mechuber with feeling someone else. Not his pashas hanefesh which doesn't give you space to someone else. His pashas hanefesh through feeling someone else, a different type of inyan. Alter is erakav. Erakav is the pashas alakus, but not that the mechuven is as the Rebbe there should be this pashas of alakus in a way that doesn't give space for anything else. His pashas of alakus through other things. That's the inyan. That's yeah. I'm just saying the guf. Where is it? Yes, he speaks like this. So he says, "V'reishis gidei akav b'chacham hainish b'chinas ke'echum osa chacham shezeh b'chinas ha'er u'me'akav." Oh, so this beer, that's the difference between this beer and the beer that the Eidos are pshutim. According to the shit that the Eidos are pshutim, he's saying it also legabi. We mentioned last time that he adds over here another prat legabi kalim. I go just the cheshvan advar. According to the shit that holds that the Eidos are pshutim, so in that tzir is neveah mitzad the kalim. Shaken according to this shit that the tzir is neveah mitzad the air gufet is already tzir, because the nekud of erakav is that in tzaf is meir in tzir. But so what's the keli? He says kliya chachma is magbila lis b'chinas yesh, and that's me'odas hasei v'kalam. That's shenach einyan. That according to this beer, the keli chachma the way it is inside the air. It's not say so chachma. He says use the dogma of tiferes anela rachmim. Gvura point is there's difference between kav and chesed, rachmim and chesed. That there's a spash mechuven is the spashus hanefesh. It's as a cheren nefesh alein. And the way mitzad nefesh, there's no tfisas makom to azulas. Mashegen rachamim is not the way, not this spashas nefesh way that shel azulas. Spashas nefesh within azulas. Al derech zeh, there's difference between the gather of zulas, the way it is mitzad rachamim, the way it is mitzad gvura. Mitzad gvura, the nekuda is there's this almus hana, his spashas nefesh, and there's space for azulas. Mashegen the zulas, the way it is in teferes, the nekuda of that zulas is to bring out that the nefesh is not mugder. That his spashtus has to be in a way that shel the zulas. He could be mispashed through the zulas or in the zulas. So the nekuda is not zulas. The nekuda is to bring out the pshitas hanefesh that he can be mispashed in the zulas. So there's a gabi kav. Kav is not the nekuda. It's the ein sof of kav. Is the ein sof in gvul. But the rest of the gvul of kav is not stam gvul. It's ein sof in gvul. It's gvul that in yoni is to bring out that ein sof is not mugbul to be mispashed in a tzir dafka of ein sof of bli gvul. Kenech shtein in gvul, and that's the nekuda of the gvul of erakav. So it's not the gvul which is the mesias of gvul. It's gvul which in yani is to bring out that the bligvul is not mugbal to be mispasha dafka in a tzir of shlilas agvul. The gvul is anders. Versteht the meaning?
Shaking the cable.
Shaking the keli in Yoni is gvul. So it's b'chinas yesh. In Yoni is not a chetimsa to bring God that the Ein Sof is not mugbal to his gal in a tzir of bligvul. It can echas gal in a tzir of gvul. It's in Yoni is gvul. B'chinas yesh. And he adds here that the keli, which is b'chinas yesh, it means it's in of gvul. That's verbundet dafka with keach haseviv dafka. That's shinach ha'inyin. Shinach ha'inyin. The Savas Hayesh has to do with Sev. Okay, it's the Parsha is going to get to them. We mentioned this last time. We'll learn again very slow. V'im kein nishma mizeh shekeach u'muhus ha'chochmeh d'haim b'chinas ha'er. I just want to mention this. If you learn the Maimarim in the Sichos a lot of times, the Rebbe brings come upon him that the Tmidah Shemarakas HaTeves Mitzat Atzmos Nibna Nois, not the beer versteht da. I don't know if you looked in different Sichos, but I'm saying the Chura, the word is the gvul, the pearl Tmidah Shemarakas HaTeves, the teva that's B'chinas Tmidis, is not a teva, it's not a gvul which in Yoni is Gilei Abli gvul. In Eirakav, which in Yoni is the Eirakav, which is in Yoni is Ein Sof in Gvul. That Gvul is not Stam in of Gvul. It's Gvul which is L'chatchila Mechuber with Bli Gvul. So does that finish Kav Yochanan Ish Onkem and Sukei Chatzmus. L'chatchila there's Kavas Neveim is at Pshitas Etzem, and Pshitas Etzem is Nizbat in them that even in a Zulas you have this Pashas of Ein Sof. So that Zulas in Yoni is to bring God that the Etzem be mispashat in a Zulas. Mashing in the Tmidah Shnokas Teva Lepoil, this Teva in Yoni is not the gvul of Erakav. In Yoni is tam gvul of Kelim. And now the there's Tmidius in this. In the Teva, the way it is, which comes Mitzat Kelim, Mitzat Shem Elikim, in that Teva also there's a code of Tmidius. So that's Dafka Mitzat Kechatzmus. The Sheirish that it could be in gvul, bli gvul, that Indian is Taka Mitzat Erakav. But Lepoil and Hagas Teva, the way it is Begashmi is, this Teva is a different type of gvul. It's not gvul which in Yoni is the gvul of Erakav. It's tam gvul. In Yoni is gvul. In Yoni is to be gvul, not in Yoni to bring out that the bli gvul could be in gvul. So that the fact that you be tmidius in that gvul, that's the l'chorah mitzat kechatzmus. Steht es meforish, that's the l'chorah the beer. What lamer zeh steht da? Kenish nish mizah shkech mizah chachad b'chin sayin in kishmayin. Yeah, so fize kommt is according to the Alter Rebbe's beer. In the v'yilu v'shmachos kommt is the kech muhus hachachma means the muhus of chachma, not the agbole, not the yesh of chachma, the etzim inin of chachma. Etzim inin of chachma as a muhus. That's not chachma as a nekuda gvul itself. Chachma as an eifin. V'ein sof is in zgale. So that chachma hainu b'chinas ha'er in nikesh mai. That could b'chinas ha'keli. Zel shu b'chinas ha'shmai. I'm visabus tak Meir and sof ha'seviv. As I said before, the eira chesed in Yoni is not to bring out the Eibush. Maybe to bring out this point, maybe just Taka brings out stronger this Indian. He says it way like this: the keli, which is bab b'chinas yeshma'ayin, that's this havas meir and savaseva kalam. Maybe that brings out a little bit the point, the chiluk between these two inyanim. When you say what's the word that is havas hayesh, Pashtus says this havas hayesh is savaseva kalam. You say what's the pshat havas hayesh is savaseva kalam? The Pashtus when there's a mocker and the davar and a mocker, so this api usually if it's had a certain mocker, there's a certain result, certain gilui. That's because that Indian expresses the alien. See, what's going to be the bitui of a Baal Seichel Omak? Mechadesh a Svara Mukha. So the Svara Mukha is going to be a gilui is behesim to the Makar. For Nazam and Sardzach, there's going to be this and this gilui which is behesim to the Makar. So here you find every other Indian we see involved there's Chacham of Chesed brings out certain milas of Elokus, certain Inyanim, certain brings out the pshittas of Elokus. So that we see what's the function kabiyach of the sin. Versteht? There in the b'chinas mayim is a gilui of chesed. Every Indian has its gilui. Then you have stam. There's a yesh. It doesn't express anything of the market. It doesn't express a lukus. Stam is there's no expression there of the Eibush's gata. Stam is a metzius. A yesh. So that because the Eibush is not mugbal in any klal. Dafke savas yesh is neveh mitzad the fact that the Eibush is not mugbal in any rules. He doesn't have to fit with any klolim. So mi yemer lematas if he wants the zach faran velazet gewalt doesn't have to make sense. That the fact that he says this havas p'chinas yesh from man it kumtis there's a metzias of chachma which in Yoni is not to bring out the hedrag bol of the bligvul hedrag bol of the earth in Yoni is tam yesh and man it kumtis taken. So that's neveh mitzad sevi kolam he's not mugdar any gdolim. The gabi him chachma atzil zasiyah b'shavet. The Eibush doesn't have to not he doesn't have to be masked into any klolim. Legabi him is higher than gvul. He's higher than sense. So mitzadim yemer lematasic and zayin afila yesh. The Eira Chachma, the Kav is Inyani is not to bring out the fact that Abish is not mugul in any klolim, just like that. The Eira Seva Kolaman is that the gili of the fact that Abish says there is no klolim. There's no rules the Gabi the Abish. The Mela is Yemer lematasic and zayin yesh. We verstehen nicht. Was hat the von Aseverta yesh? What does the yesh express? The yesh expresses nothing. So what's the pshat of the Abish that there's a yesh? As yet gevalt. Is the Chatchilan Harini which is shaykh is the Seichel Vasaga. So that's the Amshach Shebechinas Ein Sof. It means the Abish is higher than the Gabihim. There is no musig of things don't have to make sense. The whole idea of sense wasn't created yet. That's the Nukud of Eira Seviv. The Amshach Shebechinas Ein Sof. Mashiach in Eira Kav is not that the Abish is beyond Ali Inyanim. Fakert that the Spash is Ein Sof in Gvul. Is Spash is Ein Sof in Metzius. That means through you can verstehen Kaviyachol. In Seichel you could be master Kaviyachol the Ein Sof Velikus. You could be masber Hulavadi Uvein Zelasi. Not that Hulavadi Uvein Zelasi and therefore Kenz Shvegen Kekashas can alt sein. That was verstehen. Hulavadi Uvein Zelasi and can be nisgalda through Chachma, can be nisgalda through Ava. That's in a way the fact that he says here that the yesh is neveh dafkim at Eira Seviv brings out the chiluk between Eira Seviv and Eira Kav. Eira Kav is not the nekuda that not this gili of Ein Sof that legabe him there's no rules. Is this the nekuda of Ein Sof that mitzad the fact that he's blig vol he could be nizgala and he could be meir mikana masik zayin. You could be margish that flow of the Ein Sof. You could be masik that flow of the Ein Sof. Mash'ink in the Ein Sof of Seviv Kol Amin is not begather asaga. The Gabi him here it's from them vertayesh. It's hertach kinshum in from Reimus. It's not mere any nekuda of hafla of godless of bligvul. The Gabi Ein Sof there's he's merem veniska from the whole gather of Mitzias Elamus. But can I feel the turns and hafla? So mitzad Ein Sof be able to matasik and vernayesh. He's higher than almost sagma of a person. This brings out the least machshav tfisa by the way is mitzad Seviv Kalam. Mashiach and Eira Kav brings out certain hafla of velikus. A certain godless, a certain ili, and a certain ili where seichel could be masik. That's already in the code of Eira Chachma, Eira Chesed. The fact that Chachma could be masik, the reimus of Elokus, that's already in the code of Eira Chachma. That there's a pchin of Ein Sof which is Izgala in Gvul. Mashiach is at Seviv. The way Elokus is Izgala Kameshu Hubla Atzmei, not the way it's Izgala in Gvul, but the way it's Izgala in Kameshu. Kameshu La Atzmei, it's higher than is Miyemer the Matasa. There's not even the remus and the flaws, but state is nicht as a certain flaw which seichel could be type is that the remus, but it's higher than all the and from them vertakayesh doesn't have to make sense inside that ring. Yeah, but that's
the other Eifin in Kav.
No, the other Eifin in Kav is also different. We'll see later. Eira Kav is not this in of Seviv. We'll see different. We'll see there.
There's the Mila and the Kav that's even a midday goals. The Mila even the Gav is
yeah. The pile, this Indian, where you say that the Sabbath is Keicha Sefer. What are we trying to say? That it doesn't have to make sense. Not that I did hair a godless over here. If you did hair a godless, so then it's not. Then it's not B'chinas Yesh. Then this never expresses as godless. The word is I don't see any reason why I created this Yesh. There's taken no reason, so you can't understand it. Sazach was a Kenish verstehen. He is miyemer lematasa. It's a different Indian. Mashiach in Kav is that the air is mizgal in a way that we can yehav na gibis asag. Not necessarily asag. Even asag shlilis is all mitzad Eira Kav. Means the fact that seichel could be marked that flaw and the reim must have Ein Sof, but you're taped as an ilu. You're able to be margish the hafla of Ein Sof. Mitzad Seviv Kalamin, we can't even verstehen. It's an other Indian. Not we can't even verstehen, and you're masik the hafla. He's not. Has nothing to do with reason. Has nothing to do with tam ve'esber. For them, vertayesh. It doesn't have to make sense. A different Indian. That's in of bleak vol va'afla could be something which does make sense. You could heard the reimus of Indian which is bleak vol. That's almost at Eira Kav. Seviv Kalam is a different Indian. Okay, let me get a bisschen weiter. So now he starts bringing out. He says that B'chinas HaChachma is Gilei held him from Eira Kav. So now he starts being masbir that flow of Eira Kav. Now he's speaking every time he brings out the Indian of Atzilas Gilei Helim. So he goes through both pratim. that first etzem zach that is gilei helam legabe akav, and the second thing that the wilde gemasber sein that the fact that it says gilei helam legabe akav it brings that a certain aflo in atzilus adam le'elyon. So you have to bring out that kav is b'chinas elyon. So that's Dr. Dov akav ari nimshim b'chinas elyon sof. Sha'er mein amar kav is b'chinas and the kud of is that is mein amar. That means what does it mean mein amar? That kav is the gilei amar. So it's a then he says the same way we spoke before when he speaks to Gabiak. You speak three inyanim. First of all, the etzem zach that Atzilus is the gile of that inyan. Durch Atzilus vet yene dargen is gale. Then we say that dargen is pchinas elyon, it's pchinas ein sof. He says the Gabiak, he says the Gabikav. Then the third thing is one of the nafkeminis between if something is a ein arech, is a yesh ma'ayin legabi the makar, or it's gile helen legabi the makar, is the eifenam shacher from the makar to the gile which comes from the makar. If the davar abam in makar is a pchin of ein arech legabi the makar, then between the makar and the teitzav is vert from the makar that was an asiluk or a parsa is to be mishane the inyan the way it is bimkeri. Mashenkin if the tacht is the gile of the makar, safkasaf the nekud is not that the tacht, not that the elyon is mailim himself. And through a shinui v'et tachten, but the nekuda of the tachten is the gile of the elyon. So then there's no tzimtzum, there's no siluk, and there's no parsa between the elyon and the davar abam namakir. So that's Dr. Da. So the savage chochem akabel the ribi shtashlos, stak ribi shtashlos, the kamet tzimtzum, but it's abchinas miyatayr, not enough siluk. If it would be an of siluk, that means that in order for the tachten to come from the elyon, there has to be a siluk lagamri of the elyon. It's not the tachten is not megal of the elyon. Ukmetzim smakas the dikna. Umikom kain in the krishman. I mean, avada there's a richuk erech between the the way it's gali in kalim to the share. But safkasaf it's mikom kain in the krishman. You see in the lashon here when he says that is adam elyon to gabi ak. He says a much more lashon chiyuvis that tzilus adam elyon to gabi ak. There's a parsa. The parsa is. The parsha is only for Atzilus. Mashenkin the Gabi Atzilus gufas Adam le'elyon. He says the lashon chiyuvis. L'chein Atzilus b'chein Adam le'elyon the Gabi Ak. Mashenkin when he says the Gabi Kav, the lashon of here is kamatz imtzumin. Umikom ke inin ikar shmayim. It doesn't stam say the chiyuvis. Umikom kem hu gilei hel. Means the yachas. I mean this is not so much ma'arich and some avav, but in Ein Beis he also speaks a sin. There's much more of an arichas there. The ein arich of the earliest the way they're niskala and the way they're mitztayer. Era Chacham Era Chesed, the Era based on Slabish and Kalim, to the Era Kav. It gives different dogmas there that it's a different, it's Shalei Be'erech in a certain way. It's Gilei Helim because Saf Kol Saf, the ultimate matar of Hamshach of Era Kav is that it should be Slabish and Kalim. But the Indian, the way it is in Era Kav, is in ganzen Mufshis from Shaykhs to Tzir. It's different dogmas, the Ein Arech of the Era Kav is in the Mashal Gabi the Nefesh. There's seichel is mushish and keich hamaskol, but a person from understanding how from a svara, you can never kemenish their gain in was bashtet the keich hamaskol shabenev. Keich hamaskol is be'ein arech in a certain way to the seichel shabenev. There's different dogmas, or you have a rav that's in the Hachodesh a seichel omik, and achrei ribi yishtashos is be able to be masbir to a talmud cotton. So the way the rav understands it, to the way he's going to give it over to a talmud is be'ein arech. And b'shas the Rav is mechadesh the seichel doesn't have the same tziyurim that it's going to have when he's going to be mashpia at the pel mamish talmud cotton. But it's not be'ein arech mamish because sof kol sof it's also a svara pratis. But it's not that the same tziyur that's not tziyur is that same tziyur is in kav. In Eira kav it's in a whole different eifin. I mean he's not mefaret of here pratis. That's more in Ein Beis is more of arichas in the ein arech. But Saf Kol Saf, even though it's Be'en Arech and there's Mesikos Begashmis and there's Mesikos Ruchnis. It's Be'en Arech. But Saf Kol Saf is the same Tnu of Mesikos. So the Aderech Zeh, we're not saying Stamazeh that the Eira Chachma of Atzilus is the same, is Eira Kav being Nimshach Atzilus. Eira Kav is Be'en Arech. But Saf Kol Saf, there's the Mechuvan of Eira Kav is the Amshacha of Ein Sof and Gvul. It's not Gvul, not in the Tzir of Eser yet. It's not the same Musik of Chachma. There's no Eschalkas. Kama Chilukim. But Saf Kol Saf, the tzir of Eses Sfiras Datzilis are all a result of the Hamshach of Eira Kav, which in Yoni is Ein Sof in Gvul. That Sof Kol Sof is in Sumim and it's Nizgad and tzir of Eses Sfiras. So on one hand it's Be'en Arech, le'idach it's that Inyan the way it's Nizgale lepel mamash in Ha'elam Mitzir. Yeah, but he's not meirich that in this matter. We'll focus on more what the Rebbe Shvasim brings out in this Hemshech, not so much the other prat. Yeah, Now he's coming to be Metavach. The Chatzilus is Yesh Ma'ayin. Even though we said before that the Kalim is Yesh Ma'ayin, so you have a Tivach already. The Eir is Gilei Helam, the Gabi the Makar, and the Kalim. But here he wants to say that the same Pchinas Chachma. According to this beer, Muhus HaChachma is the Eir HaChachma. The Keli is only the Hagbal of Chachma. So when we say V'Chacham Ayin Timotze, meant the Keich HaMagbal of Chachma. We mean the Muhus of Chachma itself. So in Eira Chacham, we have to find it both in Yonam. Side that it's Pchinas Yesh Ma'ayin, the Gabi the Makar, and side that it's Gilei Helam. So it's genug that the Kalim is Yesh Ma'ayin. Because there's Chachma Zak, the Chacham Ayin Timotze, that nagin themselves on Chachma, which of them we say Atzil is Gilei Helam, the Muhus of Chachma. So that's what he's going to say. Why? So this is negative. It's not Ein Sof. It's not Masha'er Ein Sof Meir. The Ein Sof Kameshu. It's Masha'er Ein Sof Meir Ein Sof in the Pchin of Gvul. So Tchila Ein Sof, which is connected, and the Miyuah, the Chuven is L'Har Pchin Gvul Amida. Which that Inyan, the Payal Mamash, in order for it to be in his Gale, is Abi Tzimtzum Akampani. It's Surah Tzimtzum Akampani. Trustak is Pchin Ein Sof. Shaleli is Pchin Ein Sof, and Pchin Gvul Amida. The way he says it over here, we're going to see later, the way he says it over here, in order for there to be this Inyan of Ein Sof being Meir and Gvul, there had to be first be the Siluk and the Salmos Gemurah of the Ein Sof. Only when there was the Siluk and the Stakos Gemurah of the Ein Sof, then there was able to be this Inyan of the Gil of Ein Sof and Gvul. I'm just saying the Guf Advar, what he says. Shustakas Pchinas Ein Sof, Shlelis, Gil Pchinas Ein Sof, Pchinas Gvul Amida. Means es soll das Cheshter and there be Gvul sein there, but only the how much the Gvul is able to handle. See the dugmas. You say tzmita shemana sateva. It shouldn't be meir the blik vul kameshu, but the blik vul as a prating vul. So for that, in order for the ein sof to be meir, not as the ein sof kameshu, but as a prating vul, ein sof should be chunas gvul. You needed that tzimtzum misalig zan legamri the ein sof. So what do you want to bring out? That you need that in order to have this Indian of ein sof begvul, hat man gedacht haben asiluk legamri. Ervila Reis bringing that the Indian of kav legabi the ein sof kameshu is ve'en arech mamish. Because if it would be an erech between the blig vul the way it's married in gvul to the blig vul kameshu, you wouldn't need it since derech siluk. Since derech siluk you need when the hashpa legabi the mashpia has no erech at all. So b'shas the herzach afila amiyot for their mashpia, there can't be such hashpa. If the hashpa is be'erech, you don't have to be mesalik legamri the whole mashpia. You just have to be mitzamtzim. So the fact is, in order for there to be damshach of erekav, which is blik voling vol, you have to be mesalik legamri the gid of ein sof kameshu. So was weiß das? That the kav there's no erech within the kav legabe ein sof. If there's no erech, so what's the pshat that it's ein sof in vol? Das get the reden später. We're saying the gufeinian. In order for there to be erekav. What do we mean? We have to be mailim the blik vol shabai, and only an aspect of ein sof should be in his galing vol. So that's bein arich klal. What is the gidei b'chacham? Alken kiven shakav ime yeser b'chinas ein sof means it's a order from ein sof. We call it kiven shehu mashe ein sof ein meir b'chinas ein sof. Kiven b'chinas bulamida was der ein sof is meir nicht na weg von ein sof, but in a way of vol lechen agav b'chinas zu shaychlem b'chinas the gidei b'chacham. He's not masber so much. The Taki asked in the beginning of the next time. I'm not saying. I'm just saying the gufina that he says is that in order for there to be this inyan of ein sof being nimshach umeir b'chinas gvul, there had to be the silik of the tnu of blik vol legam. Mitzad the tnu of blik vol itself is taka is what is gvul is no metzias taka blik vol. In order for there to be this inyan that the blik vol should be able to be meir in gvul is through silik legamri of the inyan of blik vol. Then there could be space for a new inyan in ganzi. Not only space for gvul, but there's space for the blik vol to be meir in gvul. So we'll see the next time another prat in them. What's what is bringing for them? That the kav the gabi the ein sof is be'en arech. You need a tzimtzum with derech silu. L'chen gabi chinazu sheich leimer is a gidei b'chachma. V'lein nikar chachma yesh ma'an gabi chinazu darash chinazu b'lamida. Kima derech hatzas me'lam l'gili. But the gabi she'ein sof baruch u'meir b'chinas ein sof mamish leib chinas b'lamida. The ein sof the way is meir, and if of ein sof. Not the way the ein sof is meir in gvul. That's b'chinas seva kol almin. In the gabi chinazu, I feel actually malam matzas igriyish ma'im. Koshkim chinas chachma that's the list. Why? Kibe ein sof atzmai means not the way ein sof is meir in gvul. Ein sof atzmai l'shayach l'gadas for the yeah, it's not the gvul. The whole mesias of gvul is not shayach klal l'gabe ein sof. Ein sof is that tzil vasiyah b'shavet. Al Rebbe says l'gabe ein sof the whole musig of gvul doesn't exist. I'm saying they say the dogma it's not the pshat in arech. It's legabi achacham, legabi bligvol, legabi bligvol, 2 gvulim are b'shavet. See, legabi $1 million, so 10 is more than 1. Legabi bligvol, no limits, so 1 limit and the greater limit. 100 doesn't make it closer to no limits than 1. You have $1. $1 million is not going to get you closer to bligvol dollars. It has no limits. A bigger limit doesn't make you closer to no limits. For many limited things, you don't get to no limits. So there's no erech thing. But there, you say that's a vert. The bligvol is much greater than the gvul. But the gvul is a metzias legabe the bligvol. We're saying that legabe ein sof, the whole musik of gvul is garnished. You can say legabe seichel shtus has no value legabe seichel, or legabe or in svaris there's no stones in svaris. There's no earth in svaris. Svaris is ideas. It's not. It doesn't exist over there. It's not the pshat that svaris is much greater than offer. It's much greater than it's not greater. Legabe is existential the ganze meise. In the Elam HaSeichel is only svaris. Other things doesn't exist over there. So legabe ein sof. It's not the pshat. Legabe ein sof. Chachma is too small. Chachma is a valuable thing, but it's shalei be'erech the ein sof. Legabe ein sof, the whole musik of Chachma doesn't exist. So the shaykh klal get this for the sale. Achi techolem shachachma yelam alagile. Like legabe akav shaykh lemerkin. Why? Because kav is a hachodesh b'gvul midah, and he says before. According to he says here in the Maimar before, v'takevert azam zach. The choref ein sof. What are we saying? We're not. We say that the kav is amshach. It's the ein sof shemer b'chinas gvul. Im legabe ein sof. He says be'ein sof atzme. The shaykh klal get this for the sale. So how is v'vert and kav spheres? Says that's taka tzimtzum derech siluk. The etzem kameshu is taka ein sof mufshis from gvul. Through tzimtzum derech siluk vart ufgetan a makar legvul, and not only makar legvul, through tzimtzum derech siluk a mizmailim der bligvul vart ufgetan that the bligvul should be able to be meir in a way that the gvul should be able to be saved of the bligvul. That verstehen wir azem, not but that's what we're saying. The meile, so on one hand that still is adam el the gabi erakav, which is the bligvul the way it's meired in gvul, which that's all mitzat tzimtzum derech siluk. Where mailim the spashtus and the starket of the ein sof. And so bleibt nur this nekuda in ein sof is ken meir zem begvul. Mashikin the gabi dam shacha, which is b'chinas ein sof. So the gabi that is yesh ma'ayin mamish, because the whole gather of spheres doesn't exist. The gabi ein sof. Aber the gabi ein sof, chosiv kolam and chachma atzma mamish. This is chachma atzma mamish. Not only the klei chachma. I mean the mahus chachma, the chachma the way it is mitzat era chachma is mi'ayin timatz b'chinas yesh ma'ayin. Ki ein seif baruch hu shalom ma'alim ma'akav ein begader chachma klal. We'll see right away. He's miskash. The gemar of this inyan. That's what he's going to go to explain. The whole Hemshech Amarim, the Vayelech, and this Chukas, Ki Imcha is coming to explain at the end of the day. How is it that mitzad echad we say that the kav is hamshachish v'chinas ein sof? So no, one of us the ein sof l'shach beged the spheres. The ein sof atzmi there's no spheres. Achacham ayin timatze. Leidach kav is also not gvul. Kav is that ein sof is meir ershe v'chinas gvul midah. Because then it's v'hafchim. That in the sherish makar kav is l'shayach klal get the spheres seilu. And spheres are yesh ma'ayin legabi the makar kav. And kav is the b'chinas legabi the sinin. We've not the shmaz that kav is the simtzum derech siluk, but we'll see the hemshech that kav is not nevei mitzat simtzum. Kav is that the eid is meir, the ein sof is meir. So you can say, but that we'll see the hemshech. We can finish up this inyan because this is mamish a hemshech yoshir. Yeah, we can limit this up. Huh? Fine bezem shachas anal. These two hemshechs b'chinas ein sof b'chinas gvul midah. Who sherish v'nagas now that he brought in the beginning of the Maimar. He brings in the beginning of the Maimar there steht in Akeda. The nice of that we know that it says that sumar minech b'chlal b'shas means mizbeinin and on hagas ha'elam you could come to the recognition that yesh bal bais lebirazu. The Akeda liegt zu das Veran Sachen in Welt which durch sie wird nisgada the gdula velikus means the ein sof velikus the etzem velikus kaviyach. We say the Chassidus touches it up. The gadlus hakel. What's gdulas hakel? Not only the elikus, the way elikus is mitzamsim himself in b'chinas gvul, but it's mere the etzem which is ein sof, and there's nyanim in Welt which they reflect the etzem of elikus, the gdula of elikus. So from these, and he says it's finished on and Agonissus. So the Rebbe Shab says here, these two amshachas, we have two eifan and vi ein sof vert nisgal. Ein eifin is b'chinas ein sof, and ein eifin bli gvul b'chinas gvul umidah. So that's a sheish based on Hachodesh Anal, Hachodesh Ateva, Hachodesh Shalma Lemetev. Hachodesh Ateva me'amshachas b'chinas gvul umidah. So who's that on Hachodesh Ateva? That is the hamshachas b'chinas gvul umidah. Shezeu b'chinas ha'er v'achayis pnimi shemeslabash ve'elam eslach yes. Shum kere anagas kol yom zanevra. Man and shtamtak. Anagas ateva is that like the sun, the sun has its pattern and has its seder v'er firsach. Every single day the sun goes in Mizrach Lamayra when the sun shines and the water has its teva how it works and the seder advarim how the ocean works. Every single thing has its teva. From man and shtamtak the teva. That's nevea from every single nivra as a erva chayis leki which is mechaye that nivra. See the yam. See the Chassidus says that mayim, for example, is the chayis, the nevesh of mayim is the sheresh chesed atzilus. So that's why since mayim, the muhus of mayim, and the chayis of mayim is chesed. So that's why mayim, the tchuna of mayim is that it goes milmayil lamata. So the teva of water, that water flows milmayil lamata, is a result of the pchinas achayis alikis that's mislabish mayim. Since the chayis alikis which is mislabish mayim is pchinas chesed atzilus, so that's why that gives different biyurim in the nature of water. So the teva hadover is neveh mitzad the chayis eliki, which is mislabish in that. Same when you get to the nefesh, say the same thing. That there's a chayis, the chayis nefesh is mislabish in every aver. Behesem to that aver. See the ayin, because the ayin has a certain the shachash of ayin, whatever there's a certain say litush in the gufa ayin, so it's a keli to keicharia. The mayach has a certain tchunis in the mayach which make it a keli to chabat shebenefesh. So the pnimius advarim is the fact that the mayach has this and this type of tchunis is because it's in is to be a levush to the seichel. So therefore, the mayach has these and these tchunis in order for the seichel to be mislabish. So there's a 7 to get in the v'rayim. So why does water have this and this nature? Because since water is in is to be a levush, to be a guf, to the chayis of chesed atzilis, so in order for it to be a levush, the chesed atzilis, the water has to have certain tchunis. So the hanhagas hanivra, the teva hanivra, the seder vider behesem to the rules of how the nivra functions is behesem to the chayis eliki, which is malubish in the nivra. So that's what he says here. If man stammt the teva, that b'chinas erva ches pnimi shemsav shilon eslachiyesem, which is that's the mock of anagas kolel mazan nivra. Now from vanich the pnimi, this chayis which is mislabish in the nivra, that's not b'chinas kelim. Kelim, he says later, kelim is the mocker of the guf hanivra. The guf hanivra is tamazeh davar mugval. He said the chaymer of the water. It's just it's a chaymer gashmi. It's not a levush for a chayis. It's tamazeh a chaymer. So the chaymer gufa that's nevei mitzat kelim. That aspect in the nivra, which it's a levush to a certain inyan. You say mayim is a levush to chesed atzilis. It expresses the Eibusha's chesed. The chesed that mayim expresses, that's the era chesed. That the sherish is era kav. The gufa nivra comes from the kelim. The fact that the nivra has a certain teichin that's nizgala through the nivra, that's neveh mitzad the and the chayis which is malubash in the nivra, that's neveh from the kav, not from the kelim. It's an which is pnimi. It's an which is mislabish from pnimi in the nivra. Means that the mayim through their character bring out chesed atzilus. But it's a nekud of not a nekud of kelim. The nekud is not stand. There should be a yesh. There should be a mitzias. The nekud is that a lekus should be meir through mayim and through eish. The Eibusha's gvura is nizgala through eish. That's the nekud of That's what he says here. He says, "V'sheresh Hemshech kav," because kav is a malakam. Kav is that the nekuda is a spashtas elikus. The nekuda is not stam. There should be a nivra, a mitzias, but a lekus should be meir. But a lekus should be meir in a way that the nivra is a kelitit. So that a lekus is meir in a way that mayim could express a lekus, or a shemayim is sapron kavit gil. Through the yefich, through the peir of shemayim, could be nizgale the Eibusha's peir and heid v'hader. So that's all erakav. That's a way in vasfar if nizgale lekus through mayim, through chachma, through chesed. That's b'chinas malkam. There's the kavamein amor. Now he's explaining why there is tmidish v'nagas hateva. On one hand, the gvul is because the kav is mugbal. The eir is erach chachma v'chesed. Therefore, the teva, the gvul umida of the nivra is nevea from erakav. But now he's being masked with the other tzad. V'idas that is blikvul. He says, "Yes, the kavamein amor," which the mor is ein sof. V'bal that the gvul is nimshach from ein sof. It's ein sof nimshach from his gvul umida. So this gvul is bli gvul, is ein sof, because it's not gvul, it's the ein sof gvul. So maybe it's therefore in the teva which is neveh, the gufa nivra that comes up from here is the gufa nivra taka doesn't have an akodah bli gvul. In the tchunis, in the tchunis are nivra yav bli gvul, and the tchunis are neveh mitzad erakav. So on one hand it's gvul, but leidach since this gvul is neveh mitzad the fact that the nivra is a levush to the chayis pnimi which is erakav, and the chayis pnimi on one hand is gvul, but on the other hand it's mein amor. It's in sof b'chinas gvul. It's kav mein amor. It's the pchin of ein sof to way since galing gvul. The mele and this gvul is ein sof. On Hachodesh Malim Yatev, Zam Chines Hamshach Chines Ein Sof Bli Gvul. That's the Hamshach the way it is Nizgal and Eifen of Bli Gvul. On one hand, Bezenikar Gilei Sof Yeser. That's why B'Shas Tref Zechanes, you can have a toss and think there the Bli Gvul is Nikar right away. And Hachodesh Yatev that from Mizbeinin Zayin that the Etzem, the fact that Chazakim came Ibaram, and the fact that there's that the Tzva Aretz Kayam B'Min, the fact that in the code of Ein Sof you have to be Mizbeinin. But the Shitchis you don't see Bli Gvul, you see a never Mukbul. Mashiach and Nes, right away you see that the Eibush is not limited in the rules. In Agbalas. Why is that? Because it's not Stam, it's Imizet as Begolik Tzinish. There, the Ein Sof is like it's not Meir Begolik. It's the Ein Sof the way he is in Gvul. Not the Ein Sof the way it is, he's Meir the way he is in his own element, Kaviyach. Is the Ein Sof the way he's Meir connected to the Musik of Gvul. Therefore, the Ein Sof Shabazeh is not Nikr. Because it's Melubish in Gvul. Mashenk in the Ein Sof of Nes, that's the Ein Sof the way he's Meir, Mufshit from the Tzir of Gvul. The way he's Meir Kameshu, so it's Nikr Kaviyach right away. There's no Levush. It's not the Bli Gvul the way it's Meir in the Levush of Gvul. It's the Ein Sof the way it's Meir Kameshu Ein Sof. But it's Nikr. But the Nikr B'Zeh Nikr Gilei Ein Sof Yezer. Lisa's Yes, B'Chines Hamshach B'Chines Ein Sof. Any B'Chines Slapshas B'Elam is not like the Ein Sof of Kav, which is Yababis. This is Leibabis Slapshas. It's like Gilei B'Chines Zu, Gilei B'Chines Yisrael Bli Gvul Mamish. The Herz of the Bli Gvul Alein, Nish with the Bli Gvul is in Gvul. The Bli Gvul Kameshu. V'Lechein B'Zeh Nikr Gdulas Ein Sof Yezer. If he's in the Tarz, shall be getting Gemara. So the Chore Bazay, how could they say that Nisan is Reish? So Tishi is Man Bria Sa'elam. Shizom Me'or Lekishov Chnes Slapshas Be'elam. Tishi is the Reish for Anagas Eilams. So that all from the Or Lekishov Slavish and Elam is Liz Mizanagas Atev. V'Shorshi Ma'avshach Chnes Gula Mida. Aber Nisan Chidush Go Ulo is Anagas Shamal Me'atev. When Nisan Tzis Nar Kriyas Yamsu, Sheresh Amshach Ma'avshach Chnes Ein Sof. Come on, Rashi Nigal, Melch Machem Lochem that the Gemara got the Giddush China, Mach das Machas in Sof Kidu. Fiza Nicha Beis Inyan, Tisher Krishan Krish Kol Kol Shana Zav Amshach B'Chines Gvul. No Masha Kos V'Chidush Zelechem Nish Chadash Nisan Nikar Reish, Hanav Amshach B'Chines Ein Sof. V'Amshach Hazu Nikar Nisan Reish, V'Hu Chedesh Agula. This next time because right away. Okay, we'll do it Tuesday. We'll help us learn till Ach Ininu. Then good Metach Mamshel Zayin the
So the process in the Tishrei is greater.
No, there's according to he's madgish. The Rebbe says madgish more the mile of Nissen that it's b'chinas bli gvul mamish, and it's not melubish in Welt. The bli gvul of Erakav is a bli gvul. It's not mer the bli gvul kameshu. It's not mer the einarech of Elam Estagabi Lukus in the Erakav.
Megillah looks greater, but
there's a mile in Erakav. That's he's not here. The Rebbe is not going into what's the mile of this or the Gabi Dader. He's just saying the way he's finishing off the Maimer now is that Kav is the mile is an Ein Sof. The Kav is Shas it's mere the Ein Sof Elikus Kameshu, so it's Nirgash the Einar Rechlecha and everything that there's Mitzias is noch Shivas. Erakav doesn't bring out the which is Merema Veniska from Welt. Erakav brings out a kert that Elikus could give space that it could be Nizgala through Welt. So not being Shelo Welt. The world has Chacham El Chesed, have a certain erech. That through Chacham El Chesed can be Yemegal Zayin Ein Sof. But through Tzimtzum Derech Siluk, we're finding a way that the Bli Gvul doesn't have to be meir in a way that's Shelo Metzias. The Bli Gvul could be meir through Metzias. But the way it's Masber here now, it's a Tnu of Helam, it's a Tnu of Yerida. You say a person has there's a takeoff of Ratz. So you have two ways that take a Ratz Gavin is battle. That if you want something, you're not mischashav with anyone. You're not mischashav if it doesn't make sense. You want. There's another way to take a Ratz is Gala. That when you want something. Your seichel is going to start getting convinced that way. Your midas is going to get convinced that way. So on one hand, vu herzach has stronger the tnu of ratzon itself. Tnu of ratzon is was man geht, sie verstandig sie nicht. Ich will sehen and that's it. The fact, ich will the seichel that retzach ich ein that it's a good thing. That's in a certain way it's a tzimtzum on the mahusar ratzon because then you're giving kaviyachal chshivus to seichel. You're giving a chshivus it bothers you that your seichel doesn't agree with what you want, and because it's very negate to what you want, so and the take it for ratzon is prayer that the seichel should get convinced that way. And when it brings that a certain mile, then that ratzon doesn't have to be shelo the keiches. Fakert, it could also be good that the keiches should be masking to the ratzon. But this prat, I mean, there's this prat. This is not this the prat. In the Maimer of Kemetzes Cholosh Nid Beis, the Rebbe goes more into the miles of each one, the mile of Erakav and the mile of the Era Blikvol. The Rebbe goes more into the prat. Yeah, There the Rebbe speaks more. But the Rebbe speaks the mile. What's the mile of Nisan al Bashim B'Teva? The Gabi Tmidius. But the Rebbe has a Riches there. The Gabi the code of Tmidius Shemar Kteva, and then the Gabi the. There says Nes is Erabligvo. Tmidius Shemar Kteva is not Nes. That's the Tmidius of Teva, which that's Erakav. And there's a mile in Erakav. There's a mile in the Erabligvo. There is more room get this the miles of each one. He's not going into that over here. But we never go away. The Erakav is a Yerida B'Chitzenius. The Gabi the Erabligvo. How is it that the Erakav can be Nizgale through Gvul? Because there's a Tzimtzum. And it's a Herzach in Shazei Stark the Tnua of Bli Gvul Kameshu. It's a Tnua of Bli Gvul which could be Nizgale through Gvul. You say, the Ratzin. B'Shas the Mehusa Ratzin is Meir Kameshu. There's no Seichel, there's no Mitzvah Chvil and Farti. When this take for Ratzin, that when is a Shaykhis to speak about, and a Vas Bashtei to take for Ratzin, that is able to convince Seichel, that Seichel is also masking to my Ratzin, that's first you have to establish that it's important that as things have to be normal. It's good that things are isgalten, and then take it for ratzin. He can be payal seichel zavarnaze. That's you need a tzimtzum derech siluk. But the tnu of ratzin itself, there's no seichel lemidus. Davas ichvil, and that's it. The fact that take it for ratzin is mizbate in them that hasheichad ya'aver eni chacham, that the seichel is mechayev azeh. That's misad tzimtzum. Avad the rekude is not seichel. The rekude is take it for ratzin. But it's take for ratzim which is Izgala through Seichel Umidus. So that's already in the code of Tzimtzum. That's a Yerida. The way saying of your Kav is Yerida. It's not, doesn't bring out the Ein Sof Kameshu. But there's, there's Prat. Okay, but Techmam Shazan Abyssal.